Alright, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 1-12, and it is multiply and divide with 4. So we've gotten 1, 1 down. We've gotten 0, all the factors of 0, anything you can multiply, all the products of 0. Anything you multiply 0 is 0. Anything you multiply by 1 is that original number. Anything you multiply by 2 is double the number. Anything you multiply by 3 is triple the number. Anything you multiply by 5 will be a 5 or 0, so 5, 10, 15, 20. We talked about 9s, and so today let's talk about 4s. So there's tricks to 4s. There are patterns to 4s, but there's also the shortcuts is what I found to be most important. So let's start by turning to page 56 in your books. It says use the 5s shortcut for 4s. Okay, because you know 5s. You got 5s down. Those are some that come fairly easily to us. So if you're working with 4s, use the 5 shortcut. Okay, and I'll go over that a little more. But number 1 says how many legs are on 6 horses. Find the total by starting with the fifth count by and counting up from there. So with that said, starting with the 5s, you know that 4 times 6. We're having trouble figuring out 4 times 6. Well, just imagine if you did 4 times 5 instead. Did 4 times 5 to start, which would equal 20, and then you add 4 times 1, which would equal 4, to give you 24. And here's the case here drawn out for you. There's 4 times 5, so it equals 20, and then there's 4 times just 1 horse, which equals 4. Added together, you get 24. That way, you're able to piece it together to get the right answer. And eventually, you're just going to start memorizing these. But until you start memorizing them, you need to know ways to figure out the answer. So with 4s, that's always a good thing. When you're multiplying anything by 4, it helps to use the 5 shortcut if available. Because if it's 4 times 4 or 4 times 3 or 4 times 2 or 4 times 1 or 4 times 0, there's not 5, so you can't do that. But you should be able to get 4 times 4 and 4 times 2 and 4 times 3. Those are a little bit easier, but when it gets bigger is when it gets more complicated. The next one, we'll use the fifth count by again. It says how many sides are in 8 quadrilaterals? The word quadrilateral starts with quad, Q-U-A-D. Quad means 4. So quadrilateral is any shape that has 4 sides. All these shapes for number 2 have 4 sides. So it says, so we call them quadrilaterals. So it says how many sides are in 8 quadrilaterals? So ultimately your question is 8 times 4. But we're going to do the fifth count by and then start from there. So our fifth count by will be 4 times 5, which equals 20. Then you have 24, 28, and 32. Because you're just counting up by 4 every time. Plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. Or maybe some of you could say, well, heck, I know this is 5 times 4, and I know this is 3 times 4, and I know 3 times 4 equals 12. That's a sloppy writing. So I could take 20 and add it to 12. However you want to do it. But the fifth count by is a very helpful trick. And you can use it for not just 4s. You can use it for any multiplication problem you have that has one of the factors is more than 5. So it could be 9 times 5, or 9 times 7, or 9 times 8, or 7 times 6. Anytime that one of the factors is higher than 5, you can do the fifth count by strategy. It's very helpful. Next one says this large rectangle is made up of 2 small rectangles. Find the area of the large rectangle by finding the areas of the 2 small rectangles by adding them. Okay, so we see 2 in here. This kind of does the fifth count by strategy too. Our first one is the one in green, which is the 5 times 4. You know 5 times 4 equals 20. Our second one is in yellow or white or off-white, whatever you call it, which is 2 times 4, which equals 8. So then you would add 20 plus 8 to equal 28. Okay, and then the second one says find the area of the large rectangle by multiplying the number of rows by the number of square units in each row. Okay, this is the number of rows. You have 5 plus 2, so you have 7 rows. That tells you over here there's 7. And then there's 4 in each, because that doesn't change. So ultimately it's 7 times 4, which equals 28. 28 square units. Okay, because that's area. Length times width. Okay, so this times the width. Okay, so then it equals everything on the inside. If this box wasn't here, if this was not around, it didn't exist, then it really wouldn't be a complete area. You would have to cut it off here. Okay, because that's a perfect rectangle. And they can just add on 3. However you want to do it. That's something we'll go over later. Maybe not till 4th grade. All right. So next page. Use multiplication you know. Okay, so we showed you the count by method, or the 5th count method. So there's other methods that you just might know. If we're working with 4s, and it's not 4 times 5, but it's 4 times 4. Try 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 4 times 2, which is 8. It gives you 16. Okay, so if you don't quite get 4 times 4, break it apart. Do 4 times 2 plus 4 plus 2. 4 times 2, sorry. Okay, so the next one, this is an equal shares drawing, where you put the total, and you break it down into the individuals. It shows that 7 groups of 4 is the same as 5 groups of 4 plus 2 groups of 4. Okay, so this is 7 groups of 4, and this is actually 7 groups of 4, because we have 5 groups here and 2 groups there, because 5 plus 2 equals 7. So this is 7 groups of 4 also. So if you find 5 times 4, which is 20, and 2 times 4, add it to that, plus 8 equals, that's sloppy, 28. Okay? So because we're separating it, we're making it a little bit easier for us to understand. If you get multiplication, if you get all these facts, this is easy for you, good. But it's always good to have these extra methods, because if you're helping someone and they just can't get it, teach them these methods. Teach them how, okay, I know it's 4 times 7, but let's imagine it's 4 times 5 plus 4 times 2. That way you're getting 5 plus 2 is 7. You're getting the 4 times 7 still. So number 6 says find 7 times 4. Did you get the same answer as the exercise 5? Well, 7 times 4 is 28, and that's the same answer as we got up here. Next, 4 times 5 and 4 times 4. 4 times 5 should be easy for you, 5, 10, 15, 20. But 4 times 4 might be a little bit harder for some. I know what it is. Some of you know right off the bat what it is. But some of you might be like, well, heck, 4 times 4, why don't I do, let's see, 4 times, I'll do 2 groups of 4, meaning I'll do one 4 times 2 equals, and another 4 times 2 equals. Now, let me erase that, because I don't like my decision of how I wrote that. 2 times 4 plus 2 times 4. Okay, that's the same because it's still 4. 2 plus 2 is 4 times 4. Okay, so what's 4 times 2 is 8, plus what's 2 times 4 again? 8. So it gives you 16. Okay, so it says use your answers to the exercises of 7 and 8 to find the product of 9 times 4. Well, let's see, they're both multiplying by 4, but this is 5 and this is 4. So you add those two together, you get 9 times 4. Don't add the 4 and 4 together to make 9 times 8, because that totally is not what we're looking for. We're taking a number and multiplying it by 4. Each of these, we're taking a number and multiplying it by 4. So 5 plus 4 is 9. So it equals 9 times 4. So basically, you add these two together to get 36. 9 times 4 is 36. And really, because it's like this, 9 times 4, we broke it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and, well, we broke the 9 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we multiplied each of them by 4. Okay? And this would equal 20, and this would equal 16. You add them together, 36. Okay, so the drawings I just did are very similar to what we're looking for the next answer, number 10. Okay, so page 11, not page 11, the next page. Today I had to find 8 times 4. I didn't know the answer, but I figured out by combining two multiplications I did know. Okay. I got 5 times 2 is 10, 3 times 2 is 6, add them together, 8 times 12 equals 16. Is my answer right? If not, please correct my work and tell me what I did wrong. I'm not going to tell you that, actually. I want you to work on it on your own. And when you come to me, I want you to bring it up to me and make sure I remember to share it with you. But I want to talk about this answer and if it's right or wrong. And I want you to write in here why it's right or why it's wrong. And the last two, write an equation and solve the problem. Okay, I want you to do what you can on these, and then we're going to work on this entire page in small group.